Hey, welcome to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, y'all. I'm your brother John.
I'm your boy Shawty Soprano.
Hey man, it's your brother Reno Moore, man.
And this is Kiana.
I just gotta throw something in here, man. From now on, I think it's, hey man, welcome to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I am your man, brother John. I think you gotta go next, Kiana.
Oh, it's me.
So.
Yeah, we saw you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And we just gonna produce the show on air. See, that's what I'm talking about on Believe and Do Good. You don't wait till you just put the plane in the air. You just do it while you're live. like you just had a conversation right on the air.
So we build a plane while we in the air.
While we in the air.
Talk to him.
So we put the plane in the air and build a runway later. How about that? So yeah, we here to help you start your week off right, y'all. If you're joining us on Facebook, you're probably on Power Plug. Also Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. Like the page, share this page. Host your own watch party. You can do that. You can help us spread the word, y'all. This program is being brought to you as part of the New Image Project of the Community Development and Training Center, aka See That. And we would like to thank y'all for tuning in, helping us to redefine what's cool. What's good, y'all?
Good. What's good, man? Wait, what's good, man? We had the community walk yesterday, brother John. That's what's good, man.
Yes, sir.
Neighborhood Association, man.
Yes,
I really enjoyed myself, man. And I had to let them know. I had told Shawty Soprano, man, that was my first time doing a neighborhood cleanup walk, man. So I really had fun, man.
That was big.
That was big, man.
Yeah.
How was the community? Was they receptive to it?
The community, let me tell you something. When I walk around the Child's Park community in the daytime, I've done this for a couple of months now. I would say it's warming.
It's a vibe.
It's
definitely a vibe.
It's a warming feeling, and 9 times out of 10, passerbyers are gonna know you.
Yeah, they vibing.
So it's like, you know what I mean? You walk down the street, next thing you know, bump. Oh,
I want to give a big shout out to the cohort of champions.
Yes. Absolutely.
One shout out to the young men. They was out there doing their thing with the city of St. Pete as well. Child's Park Neighborhood Association members, man, rolled in deep.
Yeah. No, our association is really about it, man.
Dude.
I love.
We
I
held
love
it down early.
It's a vibe with y'all neighborhood association, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. It's like everybody know one another. I know them.
Yeah,
it's like I stay around there.
It's real neighbors, man, and like that's the thing about it is once you really create that environment, because that's what it has to be created. Right. You know what I mean?
It's a vibe.
But it's something that we want. Like we all want it.
Put neighbor back in the hood.
But somebody got to do it.
Put neighbor back in the hood.
And so it's just
that's a phrase coined by him.
And you know they
Who made that?
I don't know where I got it from, but it wasn't original. I found it somewhere.
What?
Yeah.
Well, you revived it.
Hey man, big shouts out to my brothers, man.
I Luther Vandrossed it because you know after Luther sang a song, like whoever sung it before
is over.
It's over.
Oh man.
Luther, Whitney, you know, both of them.
That's right.
Yeah. When they do that,
do you like that?
Yeah. Hey, modern day version, Lil Wayne too, man. When Lil Wayne jumped on your beat, man, it was
over.
Done. No longer your track.
Done.
It's no longer your song.
What is that, y'all? That's a different level of talent we dealing with, right?
Yeah.
It's called Takeover.
That's takeover. You just
man, the pretty girls, man.
The cover. Man. And it started out as a cover, but then you just own it. Like
you have to own it.
You have to own it.
You have to.
And then also yesterday, Deontay Thompson from Dream Faith was
big shout out St. Pete Strong.
Man, St. Pete Strong, man.
If you've seen St. Pete Strong or you had a St. Pete Strong T-shirt, Deontay Thompson and his team,
that phrase.
He's behind that. And so he was recognized yesterday, and it was really great because I used to walk by his house every day going home. He stayed right there on 14th and 40th. I mean, 40 between 46 and 47.
Yeah.
And we used to walk like every day when we get off the bus. He go that way and we keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The whole squad keep going.
Yeah, the whole
and
squad keep going.
Also great about Deontay, like he doesn't even live here in the city.
Yeah.
And he still
he gave a computer lab to Child's Park, y'all.
Yes, he did.
So I want to give a big shout out to him because that's helping do what we want to do. We want to bring technology to our community, and he did that like 3-4 years ago, y'all.
Yeah. He does a program like every summer.
Listen, he gave a whole computer lab, 7 to 10 computers.
Yep.
That's real.
Yep.
Hey, man, big shout out to my player partner, man, since Azalea Middle School, since Boca Sega High School, man, that's been my partner. And when I talk about success, here's the thing, right? When I speak on success, and people who just did not come back and be the regular. I talk about D. I use D since 2000s as an example.
Absolutely.
Because since '97 I started a period in my life of watching my friends leave off the FAMU Tallahassee.
That's right.
And come back home every other weekend with the whole conversation. I miss the bird. I miss the bird.
Yeah.
You know, they'll come back home on Christmas break. They'll come back home on summer break. You know, but when D left early.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was in the program at Bogan, so he graduated a year early.
Ego program.
He was in Ego program.
Ego, I remember
right.
Ego. I was in goals.
Yeah, I was in goals. I was getting my credits up. Shouts out to getting your credits up, man. Hey,
goals saved my life though.
Hey man,
I was in hoods.
Hey, go.
That was my program.
helping outstanding others do something. Hoods, right? See how it worked.
Hey, man.
He was helping outstanding others do something.
Hey man, he was at the head, man. He was taking it to the head, man, helping the elders achieve dreams.
So listen, the moral of the story is it don't matter how we get there, as long as we get there.
That's right.
That's
But I like that.
Let me end my
I like
story.
that. How you brought that back.
Let me end
really
this story
love
though, y'all, because like I say, when I speak of success, I use D for an example, y'all.
Yeah, big
And
success.
I know a lot of people in my life, you know what I'm saying, but I always speak on D because he did not come back here for Christmas break. He did not come back here for winter break. And when you thought you was going to see your boy and go to the park, we was going to go to the beach, play ball. No, D was going to Dallas, Texas, to Texas Instruments.
Yeah.
Interning.
Yeah.
So
Talk about it.
So when Puffy was interning, and what he did in his career, like I watched D do the same thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't know any other people. I seen my island leave Bogey like a couple of years later. My island left, and he's over there in South Carolina doing his thing. Was doing
That's
a big
right.
tech job. You know what I'm saying? These are my partners from Azalea and then to Bogey. You know what I mean? But definitely on the track of being St. Pete strong and knowing what it represents. Man, big shout out to my partner.
Man,
Really believing it. Just a quick story about it. Cheyenne actually went and spoke to his students one summer. And it was crazy when he connected with me. We talked about it. We set it up, and then I had the wrong date. So Cheyenne was in New York, and she was supposed to be back here in St. Pete the next day, but our schedules had messed up. And I was like, dang, we really want to do that. He called and was like, you know what? We're just going to fly her back in. And that's how important it was to him and his program and how much he believed in the kids in St. Pete and being St. Pete strong, that he wanted them to hear that message. So I'm forever grateful because, you know, we don't get a lot of people like that.
No, that's boss stuff, man. Big shout
New
out.
Image Project, man, in real life.
That's real.
What's in the news, man? What's happening? What's going on around the world, man?
Man, what's going on around the world, man? I don't know, man.
What's
Man,
going
Ted
on around?
Cruz went to Cancun. No, he came back. My bad.
Hey, hold on.
Ted Cruz went to Cancun.
My bad. He came
I like the way
back.
that sound. So, but Brother John was, what's going on around the world? Prano said, man, Ted Cruz, he's been around
The world.
He been around. Ted Cruz been around the world.
So
man.
let's frame it. That's a problem because
He was in. It's a crisis in Texas, y'all.
And as a leader, man, I'm gonna
You
got
to be on post.
As a
You got to
leader,
be on post. You can't leave.
We didn't know what St. Pete was gonna be looking like. You know what I mean? But when I came back here a few years back, I was anxious to get back here because my timeline, I didn't come back home till Wednesday. That when that storm came here, right?
Okay.
I was anxious to get back home because I already
But you
saw
can't compare
y'all.
your story to the elected official.
No, I can't. I can't
Why not?
because I'm a
I
leader.
can leave.
Why not?
Because I can leave. He can't leave the post.
Hold on. Finish
He
the story,
can't
right?
leave the post.
Here's the difference, though, right? And on that Wednesday, when I was coming back home, I was
Not to
excited to
Cancun.
get. I was excited to get back home because I had already saw my brothers in Child's Park.
Do you know what he talking about when he said get back home?
I was trying to get back home in Child's
Coming
Park.
from where?
Coming from Tennessee.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, he's just starting the story like everybody know where he was at.
No.
Like we didn't know
gotta
you went to
fill 'em in.
Tennessee.
You
We
gotta
didn't know
fill 'em
you
in.
left.
I got you.
You got to give us context.
So like I had said, you listening with your mouth, not with your ears.
I was.
So that was good with that. So no, what I said was when I had left from the storm a couple years back.
Okay.
I said on the way back home, I stayed until Wednesday. And so on Wednesday, I had already started to see my brothers go down my timeline helping people in Child's Park.
Right.
I was anxious to get back home. You see what I'm saying? Now, it wasn't a matter of we gonna do this before we leave. No, we just leaving, packing up. I spent all day long putting sandbags together.
Yes, sir.
At Bartley Park. But what a leader doesn't do is leave his people when they're hanging.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And,
Right.
and that's what they're talking about in the political landscape right now is when the ship is going down, the captain's supposed to be there.
And you don't see him. You don't get pictures of him. You know what I'm saying?
So
going to Cancun.
So
Because you can go to Florida. You can go to Alabama. You can get out the line.
You can't come to Florida. Florida,
But no,
this
you
is
can
beautiful.
get
It's
you can
beautiful.
get out the line of the storm. That's okay. But
So
you can't go to Cancun.
So in the words of the great Cedric the Entertainer and his character in Barbershop, what you gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? And that's how they feel.
no, they leaned on him. They leaned.
What you gonna do?
They
about
leaned
it?
on him and made him
Yeah.
come back.
They leaned on him, made him come back because you
That's what
hear
they
this
did about it.
conversation.
And then when he come back, how he come back? Like he came back like my bad, y'all.
He came back
like
no.
with
No,
his chest
like
out,
Brother John said, he came back like he was late.
He came
but he was on time.
okay, like he been here the whole time.
No,
He
he
came here.
needed a mental day. That's why he went.
It was
No,
self-care.
but
He went for self-care.
If he would have screamed that, he would have been all right. But he said his daughters wanted to go somewhere dry and warm.
Oh,
That was the story.
Hey, what
So
you
if he
hold
would have
on,
said
so
self-care,
stop right there. That's live from the white privilege section.
Live from the white Puerto Rican section, man.
Yeah.
He's a white Mexican, right?
Say less.
No,
I got that. I got
man.
it.
He not?
With him. Yeah, knowing that.
Oh, that's Cruz. That's a Mexican last name.
No,
Y'all better
yeah.
hold on, man. Y'all better hold on now. Cruz is a Mexican last name like Krieg and all that kind of stuff.
But,
It's German.
but who
No
gave
last
them
name.
those names,
bro.
I mean, hey.
That's why I was just gonna say just
like they was conquered just like we was.
Yeah.
But
Just
you-
Conquistadors. They're called conquistadors.
We do have Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah, you got Tom
Like,
Cruise.
hey,
But it's a conquistador somewhere in there.
But you think about Rodriguez and all of them, like that ain't their name either.
There's a conquistador
man,
somewhere
tell
in
them
there.
that.
Their name ain't Gonzalez. Like
Tell
that's
them that.
somebody else's name.
Look for the conquistador.
Just like your
in
name ain't
everything.
Jenkins, Jones, Bunch, and all of that.
There was some conquistadors too.
They just had a Spanish conqueror, so they got Spanish names.
That's what conquistador means.
right?
That's what conquistador means.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm telling you.
And they were Spanish
I remember
conquerors
conquistadors.
that gave them their names.
Conquistador.
Brother John, I remember loving that name too, right?
What's that? Which one?
Leaning on it.
Rodriguez.
Conquistadors.
Oh, conquistador. Oh yeah, that's the word of the day.
Conquistadors.
Conquistador. What's going on, man? What else is happening, y'all?
Hey man, I just want to say, man, R.I.P. to the NFL player, man. That's going on right now, man. What's his name?
Vincent Jackson.
Vincent Jackson,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Sad story, man.
He was doing some work in the community, man.
was.
Whether you agree with it or not, you know what
Okay.
I'm saying? You know,
Because there's people that don't agree with it.
You stopping? I just said okay. I'm hype, man. All right.
Woo. Okay.
I'm just here for it all.
You put all
I'm
right.
just here for it all.
hey, I'm trying to put it together, man, but I got a hype man on the death story, man.
Vincent Jackson, though.
Man, but a sad occasion, man. That CTE, man. That ain't talking about Jeezy, man. With the death, man.
I don't know what CTE is.
So that's just when them NFL players are taking too many hits, I think, man.
ah,
You know what I'm saying? So like even his family has donated his brain
Wow.
to Boston College.
Yeah, to
I
study
believe.
for the hits.
To study for the hits and stuff.
So that's what they're saying the cause of death is.
Well, they don't know.
They
They don't know, but being that he ended his career playing football for that long and stuff, you know what I'm saying? He took a lot
He
of
was
hits and
missing for a few days.
Yeah.
It was a
they
missing.
say he checked himself into a hotel.
Yeah, he was in the suite.
Like he left, he checked himself
And
into a
they
hotel.
checked on him. He said he was all right. You know what I'm saying? And then he went back in there and passed.
So the cause of death still hasn't been
They don't know
determined.
that. They don't know
Yeah,
that.
because they found him after the search.
Yeah,
And when they found him, they spoke with him and then.
right. I did an interview with Vincent Jackson. I interviewed him. Me and Gypsy interviewed him for when he was doing the thing with Callaloo. But we never put the interview out. But we did it was supposed to be like a video conference before everybody was Zooming. This was like, I want to say 18, 19. But we couldn't pull off the technology. We did it on a recorded, audio recording. And real humble brother, you know what I mean? And
That one he did.
just hearing his story. And I mean, he got a real powerful testimony and kind of hearing his motivation for why he was doing it and what he was doing and how he transitioned out of the NFL into business and the restaurant business. I mean, it was just really an interesting and a powerful story. So definitely, heart goes out to his family, man, and those who were connected to him in any way, man.
Speaking of powerful stories, Brother John, how about Regina King? She's producing a biopic about Shirley Chisholm.
Okay. Yeah.
And one of the things that Kiana had brought up about Regina King's I don't know if you knew this, but Regina King not only is producing this movie, but she also produced the One Night in Miami.
Yeah, we showed that at the film festival. It was an amazing film. I don't know if y'all seen it, but One Night in Miami is directed by Regina King.
So now what's going on?
And she one of the first black women to ever make it to some of these film festivals, y'all. There hasn't been any black women in none of these film festivals, not the big dogs.
2021, man, you get a black woman.
And she is the first. And it was one night in Miami that got her those accolades.
That's what's up.
Man, that's
Thoughts
big.
on that? What's your thoughts on
I
what
mean,
you doing?
it's always. I love to see black people do good, but I also love to see black women strive. You know what I mean? And for her to go in and step out there and make these powerful movies, and then educate people on things that they may not know is always a good thing.
Man, what do you say about the new Black Hollywood? I think I'm finna call it the new Black Hollywood, brother John. You got LeBron James making these movies. He's making real deal movies, man.
I think it's the time. I absolutely think it's time. I think after somebody does it and does it well, then it inspire other people.
That's right.
Because they always told people what we wanted to see, and so I got a book I just was ordered, and it's a sister. I'll be forgetting names, but I'll post it. Mm-hmm. But she wrote a book about the streets and kind of the origin of the streets, not just as a word, but as an institution. How the streets has its own codes, it has its own rules that govern it. And she was talking about the
Definitely
narrative.
Post that book, bro, John.
I will. We do that, right? We share books. We
do that.
We do share books now.
We do that. We read and stuff. So, but in this book, what she was talking about was how they created this market for black people. It was, integration, of course, was basically integrating white businesses and integrating our dollars to their businesses. And so what she was saying, the narrative at that time was that we didn't have because we was out of, enslaved. But they started changing the narrative to talk about the black consumer and what the black consumer wants. And the guy Johnson, who ended up publishing Ebony, he had like a role in that in really defining the black market. And in this definition, they started talking about what we want, what our appetite was, and the types of things that we want to see. And so for years, that's what went on. And so they would give us, Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society, because they was like, they want to see themselves and they're killers. So we're going to put themselves in. And even before that, remember the black exploitation is what they called them.
The black exploitation era.
And so they would make these movies about what they thought we wanted to see. And we had Kanye West in our ears earlier. Remember when he did Jesus Walks? Like, that was one of them things. Like, yeah, people will actually listen to somebody on the radio sing about Jesus. Like,
that was big back then.
But the appetite, but people, they didn't do it because they didn't think that people would listen to it. But he proved, like, if you put out certain stuff, people will listen to it. And so I think what's happening in Black Hollywood, to bring it back to what you said, my thoughts on it is continue to do it. Keep doing it more so that other people will be inspired.
Of course he's going to say to keep doing it, right? He's going to tell you to keep believing. He's going to tell you to keep doing it. That's all he got for you.
They believe.
Believe and do good.
That's really it.
Believe and do good.
Giving us something with substance.
Yeah.
Okay, talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's giving us something other than what they say we look like,
Yeah.
and what we are supposed to be per se, America.
Big shouts out for the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, man, Newton's Project, for doing the same thing. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
But right, you know what I mean? So Black Hollywood at this point is now painting a different picture of Black America.
Yeah.
And we're now controlling it, and nobody else is telling us what we look like. We're telling the world what we are.
So
not the world telling us.
Do you think that there's a possibility for I would say sometimes unintended consequences, but a lot of times they are intended? So
say that again.
Unintended intentional consequences. And that's just something I just thought of.
Unintentional, intentional consequences.
Yeah, because it looked like it wasn't supposed to happen, but that's what ended up happening.
I believe in that.
Right.
I believe. Because sometimes you have a vision and a dream about something, and then you don't even realize what is going to come to until you see it.
Right.
Until it actually happens. And then you realize the impact that you have on your community after it's all said and done, because a lot of times we get visions and we don't realize what path this is going.
Right.
We just know we want to do it. But then when we get to the finish line, we realize how important it was. It wasn't just for us, it's for other people.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why you here.
I like how you,
That's why we brought you in.
and sometimes that works out for you, and sometimes that work out against you.
Right.
Exactly.
That's the other part of it, you know, because
Such is life.
and such as the case was like with the movie Malcolm X and X, right? Because
It's used for manipulation.
it's used to paint the Nation of Islam in a certain light.
It's called
right?
inception.
But it's so
Look up that word,
What they
inception.
mean to portray, so they make it seem like, you know, because after that movie, a lot of people saying, well, see, it was the Muslims that y'all killed Malcolm.
They inserted ideas. It's called inception, and they put it into.
But I want to lift this up, and you're right. You really doing the science of it, and that's important. That's important to do this, to really understand the science. But the higher level is how they put it out, and they meant it to paint the Nation of Islam as the murderers of Malcolm X. And full circle, you see Ben Crump and some others now saying that they have evidence that was released. The guy just passed recently, and he left a letter talking about his role in the murder and how he was an undercover agent. And so when they put the movie out, they put it out to make us think one way about the history, but now we're finding out, 25 years later that the history was actually something else.
I think you just...
Oh, go ahead. Or do you think that when they put that information out, they were fed the wrong information? So, when you go out there and search, you read and all that other stuff, and then you re-report whatever you got. So they believed it. So your reality, your perception is your reality. Yeah. And until you go and find more information, sometimes we are misled and we give misleading information.
So I want to say one thing.
We're not trying to do. We're just trying to educate.
Read the labels. When you eat food, you read the labels. When you look at movies, read the labels. When you get down to the last label, when you look at those companies, then you know what they're behind. Yeah. So you look who made Malcolm X. Who paid him to make that movie? Who
financed it? Yeah.
And what we also got to do,
you look at the writers,
and then you find out that he was mad at the film company for how they edited it.
Yeah.
See, then you find out that okay, so there was a more nefarious thing behind it because of who produced it.
Yeah.
And it's really just propaganda, though. You know what I'm saying? Because looking at a picture that's got 1,000 words, that's what Brother John doing. He's painting what he's seeing, for us in that movie. I think that the subliminal messages is all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So it's always on the mindset of the person who's watching it. You know what I mean?
So what's the subliminal messages in this Judas thing then? Because I was,
that's a whole nother show. So don't even go.
Don't do that. Cause
that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, because Judas, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot. I watched it. I finally watched it.
Frano don't like nothing, y'all.
So I didn't watch it. So next Sunday, we're gonna talk about it.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the Judas factor.
Yeah, man.
And
like Brother John saying, at the end of the day, man, there's so many hidden factors behind stuff, man. These in the propaganda, man, is where your mindset at, because one of the issues that I want to highlight, Dr. John Henry Clark spoke about it in one of his videos I shared last week. A lot of people getting their history from these movies, and that is so not right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
getting history from movies.
Getting history from movies, y'all. Like Malcolm X did not become a Muslim in prison.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? But we believe that Malcolm X became a Muslim in prison because the Malcolm X movie got him in prison reading in the black and white definition. No.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And black people's interpretation of slavery is literally coming from a drama, a saga. It's called Roots.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's not what happened. But guess what? That's what everyone's interpretation of what happened back then. You know what I mean? Just based on a movie alone.
Yeah.
And we gotta really do some work out here, y'all, man. Get into the real history of what's going on, man.
And I think that's why they call it research, right? So
that is why they call it research.
Well, you searching, right? And then you research. Is like do it again. So as once you see it, you got to look again at what you're looking at. That's researching. You know what I'm saying? Like really do it means do over. Repeat. You rewind. You know what I'm saying? Research. There you go.
Hey, now how about this right here? Also live from the white privilege section, man. 6 Capitol police officers were suspended for the Capitol attack.
That's all?
On the insurrection, right? And like Brother John said, man, that's all right. Only 6 of them, right? It's almost right. Listen to this, y'all. This is what we mean by the live from the white privilege section, right? There's literally one more police officer, right, that was arrested or suspended than the amount of people that was died in this insurrection. 5 people died during this insurrection, yet only 6 officers have been suspended. Come on, man.
So are they saying that the officers are responsible for the deaths? Is that why they?
Well, the investigation from the FBI right now is yes. And there's more.
So they had a hand to play in the whole.
The larger news cycle says over 25. Over 25. That's right.
So they're gonna be responsible but not guilty. Because that's what we're seeing is that because like we just saw with Trump, he was responsible but he was not guilty.
So that's a strong word though when you say responsible though. You know
that's what they did with OJ too.
You know that?
What didn't they do it? He was not guilty.
OJ didn't do it though. He wasn't responsible.
But that's what But that's the law. That's the system.
If you look at the system and even white cops, they be like, oh well, we see where he was wrong. but he's not guilty. I mean, how can you do one without the other?
Yeah,
that's the way they play the game, though. You know what I'm saying? That's absolutely right, Keanu. It's like, how could you be one without the other? That's why we be sending our community confused at their movements. That's how they play the game on us.
Yeah, those are rules that they wrote for situations like this.
Exactly,
because
man.
if we're responsible, we're guilty,
and
we cannot be responsible and still be guilty.
How about that? Check this out. My wife said, Jay, that's me. She called me Jay. Y'all.
Hey, Jay.
She said that stuff is not hidden. They really put it in our face.
Hidden in plain sight.
A lot of that stuff is not hidden.
It's hidden in plain sight,
We're just not paying attention.
No, we pay attention. This is that's how they tell you, like, I'm in charge. Like, do something about it. Like, it's like I'm daring you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
again, what you gonna do about it?
What you gonna do about it?
Yeah. We killed him, and we gonna tell you we killed him. Now, what you gonna do about it?
And that's my conversation with a lot of my Moor brothers. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the sovereign brothers, they want to scream and say, "Hey, man, we gotta claim my nationality." And I'm all for that right there, right? But don't tell me I gotta claim my nationality, and I'm stupid if I don't claim my nationality. I'm all for the system if I don't claim my nationality, because claim my nationality, you still gotta have the power to make people do stuff. There's no law on the books that if they don't feel like upholding, you can't make them uphold until you get your power right.
You just gave me a thought, and this might be a believe and do good moment, but
There it is.
but a lot of times oppressed people can be the most oppressive. People who have been victims of intolerance can be the most intolerant.
That's almost Stockholm syndrome talk, though.
But you see what I'm saying? Because it's true.
a true statement.
Like people who have been victims of intolerance can be the most intolerant, and in order to them to assert their position, they have to invalidate. They feel like they have to invalidate everybody else's position in order to make themselves right. But if you're right, you're right.
You're right.
You ain't got to make me wrong in order for you to be right.
Says the good salesperson who does not have to talk about nobody else's business, just gonna talk about their business and what they bring for the community.
Come on, man.
That's real.
But yeah, you ain't got to make me wrong in order for you to be right.
Hey, but I don't know what happened.
I respect your right to be right.
Right.
Hey,
Look,
look,
but I digress. Yeah. Who don't want that? Who don't want that though?
Hey, no, man.
Everybody want that.
Everybody.
You want somebody to say you right
sometime.
That's why you keep repeating your point over and over until they finally say, okay, you right.
See.
Read. That's doing it again.
And you want them to mean it too, because they be like, okay, you right, but you don't mean it. Ooh.
What else do you want from me?
Whole nother thing. All right, I don't know where we at. Y'all just kicked the camera, but we looking good over here? Yeah, I see it over there. We looking good. All right, where we at, man?
Hey, man, Charlotte Soprano, what do you say about Representative Presley introducing the federal job guarantee resolution, man?
I ain't hear about it.
Man, the federal job resolution, right, is guaranteeing jobs for Black, Latinx, and Indigenous workers, which provides community members the opportunity to work with dignity. So the government is going to guarantee.
Sound like slavery. I don't know what they pay. I don't know what the pay is, but if it's not a living wage, it's slavery.
Guaranteed jobs. Yeah, we had 100% employment
during slavery. And then as soon as we got out of slavery, they started calling y'all lazy.
Dirty dog.
Oh man!
Right after you built the White House.
Right after you build,
when you build me a house and you don't got you a house, now I'm telling you that you lazy.
So as soon as you had to pay us, lazy.
Oh yeah, immediately.
Well, no, that's the justification for how they treated us. Like if we didn't beat you and make you work, you wouldn't have worked. That's the kind of the sickness and the mental illness. Yeah. Like if we didn't torture your children and rape your daughters and do all of that, y'all wouldn't have worked because y'all was lazy. So that's why we did all of those things.
What's so funny is they did no work, but we lazy.
At all.
We lazy
at all.
Now hang
on.
All. Let me drop a little stay with one for you, man. Hold on, man. I got these women right here. All right, I got these women here. Y'all not gonna be able to see it on the camera too slick. These women here, they looking real.
So this a pre-production though. We supposed to send that before we start.
Yeah, no. we really just on the fly right now. So I just brought somebody a picture right now. That's almost a post.
Go for it. What you got?
But we got the Virginia Central Lunatic Asylum for colored insane in 1870. It was a patent back in Georgia. Georgia Page was described as a useless old harlot, right? which was the first hospital of its kind in the world, the first mental institution founded solely for the care of black women who watched their children taken and sold. Like any woman would, a slave would become severely depressed, suicidal, and mentally insane after her baby was snatched from her arms and sold for another plantation, or the owner murdered and watching her husband sold and killed, right? Or her mother, her brother, her sister, and her grandparents be hung from a tree and burned to ashes, wiped to death and dragged away. And this was the look of those women as they seen. It was an insane asylum that was created for black women back then. First of its world, man. This is what the black woman endured back then, man. Black History Month, man. Give you some real gruesome news, man, to understand, man, that I don't think our friend would tell our grandparents they can't piss in the same restroom as them 100 years after this. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying 100 years after this right here, our grandparents was told that they can't even use the same restroom, y'all. And I don't think a friend would do that. You know,
real talk.
But you got a friend in Jesus, though, man. So we're gonna keep it pimping on Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, man. Stay woke.
And in that, on our Black History kick, I know that, we talked about earlier that there's something happening in St. Pete around lynching, and there's like a lynching memorial or something with.
What's that you, Charles?
My news scattered, but on Tuesday, they're gonna honor John Evans and a couple other people that was lynched. Okay. Ones that are known.
And that was in St. Pete, right?
Yes, the unknown lynchings will never go memorialized.
Yeah, they had a thing in Alabama.
Those are the known lynchings.
Okay,
those are the names.
But they
of
had
the
like
known.
a memorial or something.
Those are the names of the known.
Yeah,
just remember that.
So
just remember the unknown lynchings will never go marked.
Wow.
Those are unmarked graves, y'all.
Yeah, and
nobody will never know who they are.
And
dead.
And that's like generational trauma that's like in our DNA once you think about that. Like,
man, Black History Month, y'all. People, we sat in classroom and we went through emotions, right? When we was learning about what happened to our people, we was getting all mad. You could imagine how other kids felt in the same classroom as they heard what their people was doing to us. It builds up race pride, y'all.
When my
you gotta
nephew
understand
was
this.
in like first grade, they were doing Black History Month and they were talking about slavery, all this other stuff. He looked at his teacher and said, "Wow, y'all really ruined our lives."
Wow.
You know?
So that's a good point. Now maybe we can invite, if we got somebody that's white that's listening. How did you feel when you found out, when you heard about Black history? What was your experience like? We know what our experience. So call in and tell us if we got any white friends or white listeners. 727-686-0512. Call in and tell us what when you first heard about slavery. How did you feel?
But I'm going to tell you, with Black History Month, I do want us to incorporate more positivity in there, because Black history is way more than just all the bad stuff that happened to us, because Black people have made this country, and we forget to tell those stories more than we talk about the lynchings and the murders and all that other stuff. And then when our Black children look in the mirror, they have something to be proud of when we tell them all the stuff that we invented and how we make America TikTok and nobody else.
Right.
Man, I tell you what, though, man, it feels good. When I started my journey of self-education, man, to find out that Black people, first of all, invented math and science. You know what I mean? Like, it was cool to know the peanut butter and the traffic light and all that kind of stuff. It was control, right? But just knowing our real history. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. You got African-American history, and then you got Black history. And what we get in school is African-American history. They tell you from 1619 and on.
And Black.
But
you get Black history because
very little though.
You do get Black history because Black people never identified themselves as Black until 1960s.
Okay.
So you get Black history because that's when we started saying that we were Black.
Okay.
Now,
in the 60s.
And I'm paraphrasing KRS-One. Mm-hmm. His research said that if you research African American, he said, although we was using the term in the 1800s, I didn't know that before then. Yeah. He said, as a scholar, you're going to do your work and start at 1980. When you research Black history, he says that you're going to start as a scholar, 1960s.
Okay.
He said if you research the word nigger, then you got 3 million years of history. And then he spends the rest of the documentary showing you why they want you to not use that word, because it has that much history.
Okay. Nice.
You see what I'm saying? Nice. So if I'm creating an MTV Jam of the Week attention span inside of y'all, I can't let y'all know something that's 3 million years old. That's so right. I also use y'all voice to be the leading component to get that at y'all vocabulary. Because now you got educated Black folks saying, "What? I don't even say that word."
Yeah.
Now, here's the trickery, right?
But it's 3 million years of history associated with it.
Here's the trickery.
My
Simeon in Acts 13 we'll take a church to the streets.
I can't see you on the video either. Just
No, I ain't here. I'm just the voice.
Oh, that's the Wiz, y'all. That's the Wiz.
This is the
Print on the Wiz.
executive producer voice.
He's Charlie from Charlie Angel.
But you have
Charlie.
yeah,
Charlie,
man. Why you Charlie? Hey, I got more jokes on that later on too, man.
No doubt.
But
Black history, yeah.
Back to the history, man. The word nigga itself, right? You have in the Bible Acts 13. In the original church, the original church in Antioch, right? It was 3 black men, and one of them name was Simeon. Simeon was called nigger. So if God was with nigger, then how do these people use the same language, the same word, and make it be an ignorant person? So you can walk this word out your mouth. If God was with niggers in the beginning, then who, you know what I mean? And then he just shows how it's grammatically incorrect for us to even say the word Niger. That's systematic racism and white supremacy in their language, making us call the word Niger. It's grammatically incorrect, y'all.
So we need to run that documentary back.
We can run that documentary back. That was the first time I've ever put a movie on for my city. I definitely wanted to put it.
Let's do that again, because that was amazing, man.
Let's do a movie night.
I want to see that now.
Absolutely.
I want to see that. Right?
I get it to you when we're done, bro, John.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. So, and again, staying with the black theme, black people, right?
Hey, man, Black History Month, man. We got a lot of history. One thing I don't want y'all to do as a resident rope brother, don't be mad at Black History Month. Understand there was a fight to even create Black History Month, right? Because you're fighting a known enemy, right? So it started off as Negro History Week, right? Big shouts out to Carter G. Woodson for creating Negro History Week. Carter G. Woodson saw that the Negro didn't have any history that was being put out in these books. So he created Negro History Week, and it grew into a month, y'all. So you didn't even get that month. So please walk out of the complaint line when you're saying stuff like, they gave us the shortest month of the year. They didn't give us that.
Here's what I say too on that. Being in this work and understanding how things actually get done, I don't think we have an appreciation for what he had to go through in order to establish Negro History Week and then Black History Month. Like there's sacrifice. Like you got to remember, like these people have opposed us from the time we got here.
Sometimes being woke is sleepwalking.
It is.
And I'm going to tell you, some people, people who complain the most do the least.
Well, here's
no. I'm just saying sometimes people sleepwalking. You want information and you right, but then there's another component you forget.
Let's get there. But since we're talking about Carter G. Woodson, I want to frame it and put the context in place for us. Like you got to remember where we were in history, and for somebody to take a stand and position and say that we want to have the ability to tell our own stories at that time, like that's some revolutionary stuff. But we make it seem like, oh, Carter G. Woodson just did.
But you got to understand.
We got black.
You got to understand. They don't have context. I was talking to this before. We don't. It's when history is learned.
Yeah.
Perspective and context is not necessarily in that book.
Because I guarantee
when you read it, you don't got the context that Martin Luther King spoke in or the Carter G. Woodson worked in. You don't have it. Yeah. You have to do some more research and some more work to understand the context, the time frame, and everything around it.
And that's what we're doing right now.
Would you say that like people do good and then we just don't appreciate what we have? Like it's kind of like an ungratefulness almost. Like you see, I'm just saying.
I think it's
context. You missing context. You don't understand. You don't understand what your daddy did when he did it because you don't have the context around
I think we oversimplify.
So you don't like him now. You get what I'm saying? And then you take that back in time, it gets even more complex.
It's just like parenting. Like they don't.
Yeah, it's even more, but it's even more complex than that because you got decades, 100 years in the gap.
Would you say it's like politics then? You know how like we complain about our politicians, but then we don't do our job to make sure that they have the things that they need. So then we say, oh, they don't do enough for us, but we didn't give them the tools to make sure that they were successful.
But it's comparable, yeah.
And I think it's really an oversimplification. Like we just boil it down, and that's what they do with our heroes, Malcolm X, by any means necessary. Like, do you really know like what that man's life was like? But that's what you attribute to him. That was his legacy. by any means necessary. Martin
have
Luther
a
King,
dream.
That's his legacy. I have a dream, right?
Not burning building.
Up you mighty race. You can accomplish what you will.
Frederick Douglass.
But we boil it down to these, bylines and taglines without really understanding what they went through and the sacrifices.
Or doing the research.
Or doing the research. But a lot of times that ain't hit. The research is like you just got to know people who was there.
But it's context because you don't got that context.
Yeah.
And you don't say that like that though.
You gotta
just said
understand.
something powerful though.
Yeah.
As a Muslim brother, you just said something so powerful that you literally talked to somebody who was rubbing elbows with Malcolm X.
Yes.
But everybody don't got that.
Yeah, for you to just say just talk to somebody who was there.
And it changed your life.
But that's why I say it's not in the book. That's not in the book though. You got to understand that's not in words. Most of us who get this is through words, books, and posts.
Movies.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? In some movies, but some of this knowledge is not in no movies.
So you getting content, but you're not getting context.
You're not getting no context.
There it is.
Yeah.
And you got to understand that context is so important to what you learn.
So we got
context clues and words. When you read, your context and comprehension is so important. But you're not understanding. You don't have comprehension because you don't have the context.
Powerful.
Man, this is mic drop.
That's a Randy Watson moment.
Mic drop.
Randy Watson.
Hey man, I'm over here with
That's what that is. I love that. We got it.
sauce them, man.
Oh, y'all got to listen on the radio. Can they hear that?
Okay,
Can they hear what we hear? Okay. Because now he playing with the toys, y'all. What else we got?
This is what Charlie does.
Hey man, listen, man.
He makes people clap. He waves the thing and sprinkles fairy dust music on the background.
Hey, so hey
Like
man.
that.
Hey, so what say y'all?
Move that button.
Come on back over
gonna
to
take
your
I'm reaching for a story right now, man. But did I get in the news, man, that one of our representatives said they finna make sure that our governor does not get reelected? Was that in the news?
There's a lot of
I
people
don't think that's in the news. That's just a feeling.
That's a lot of people saying
But
that.
it's a lot of work go into that, and
there's a lot of people
gotta
talking
be
that.
working right now because it ain't gonna be talk that get these people unelected.
And I think a lot of
it's
people,
gonna be action.
a lot of people looking at what happened in Georgia, they seeing what Stacey Abrams did and that movement. And again, it's oversimplification. They make it seem like she just went out and made some speeches, wrote a book, and got people to vote.
She hit the ground.
But I mean,
It was ground game. They had people from out of state on the ground. Yo.
Yeah.
I'm looking at.
I mean, I'm from the inside. We know what happened.
I'm
Yeah,
looking at
yeah.
two people right now who was responsible for helping turn Pinellas County blue for
Yes,
us
sir.
in this first election, and I seen what it take, man, every day to get people
It's
out there in
ground
the
game.
streets, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's real work,
It's
man.
ground game.
It's real ground game, and I'm gonna tell you something. Knowing the real ground game work, I really was taken back in awe. You know what I mean? At what Stacey Abrams did, and I was respecting that from the beginning.
Yeah, because
From
you
the
can see it. Yeah.
beginning, man.
No, they did good work. They did
They
good
really
work,
did.
and it's not simple. It's not
by
simple.
far.
Yeah.
Hey man, big shouts out to those who do make it look easy though, man.
That's right.
It's all about making.
That's right.
It's all about being passionate. It's all about being passionate. It's all about being passionate. Did I say it's all about being passionate? And guess why? It's gonna take a lot of that to get it done in the community, man. It's a lot of conversations. It's a lot of I don't agree with you. But
A lot
guess
of
what?
meetings,
A lot of meetings,
And
man.
not getting discouraged.
Yes.
Bingo.
Yes.
not getting your
Yeah.
feelings hurt.
Hey, and all we doing, we just setting y'all up for this campaign season, man, pretty soon, man, because I just don't want our community to make the same decisions every 4 years, every 2 years.
Oh, so
Same
it is
decisions.
election coming up, right? It's a
It's
mayor's
a-
election.
so there's an
Did y'all see the
election
state?
every
Did
year,
y'all
if y'all
see?
didn't know that.
Did y'all see the state of St. Pete?
I saw it.
Okay, talk about it.
It was-
I mean, talk about
it.
it.
Wasn't really remarkable.
Okay,
I mean,
has there been any remarkable work going on?
all that's subjective. I mean,
Okay, yes, sir.
You know what I mean? But I think overall it's kind of highlights and reviews. And so when I was listening to it, you listen. I guess I listen different. From how
Talk to
other
me.
people might hear it. And I heard one of the things that I heard
Was
was
they spiking the ball?
I heard in some cases they were spiking the ball, celebrating some of the work that's happened while also acknowledging that still work needs to be done. One of the things that really got my attention though was it was almost like a tangent that the mayor went on when he talked about the raise.
Okay, talk about it.
Like the raise.
I heard it.
right?
And
But,
I don't
but
think
did you see that? Like
I don't think it was professional because
There you
we
go.
got to negotiate.
Yeah.
Hold on,
I don't
right
have
now,
to
y'all.
negotiate with you under these circumstances,
Kiana.
sir. And they gonna push it to another year. Watch.
Yeah.
Mark my words. I'm saying it right now.
What you're watching right now, Kiana, is Brother John getting the dancing going on.
Yeah.
Then the old uncle on the sideline, do the cut and rub.
Yeah. And you see, he keep telling me too. He like tell him.
Benefit agreement.
Hey, he
Like, yeah, benefit agreement. Yeah, they're gonna talk about that right there.
That's how hype.
Hold on.
But no,
we getting there. Hold on.
Yeah, because he mentioned benefit agreement in the state of the city.
Here for it.
Yeah, he mentioned that, which is work that we doing.
Here for it.
And we got a community update on March 9th where we're going to be talking about the community benefit agreement. But the mayor did mention it. He said it's imperative. It's something that he wants to see happen, et cetera, et cetera. But the point that I was making is about how he was talking about the raise and really like just going in on the raise.
But I say this, right, and I don't like it, right, but I say this, he is telling them what they need to hear.
Yeah.
They playing though.
They need to hear that because it's a relationship, and we talk about these relationships. And they need to commit. They playing with us, and as a community,
that's what he said.
But listen, that's why I say I don't agree because you got to go in there and talk to them on negotiation tip. That's why I don't agree with it. But on the reality, what he said was the truth.
Yeah,
y'all have to get in bed with us. Y'all making these illegitimate babies. These children ain't eating. These children they're suffering because we ain't get legit. We ain't getting the blessings from God that we get when we get married. Everything, we ain't doing it.
Yeah, he did. He said put a ring on it.
Yeah, he said put a ring on it.
Okay, so hopping back on what you said earlier, maybe he did try to bring this to negotiation, and they didn't
had to call him out.
So at this point, now his back is against the wall.
He got to call him out.
So my observation.
Now call you out.
Yeah.
My observation
so I'm on the other side of that now.
And it was 1 second, Reno. I appreciate that. Thank you for allowing me to interrupt.
We do that.
I ain't gonna say I ain't mean to interrupt. I really did. So thank you for allowing me to interrupt.
Sorry, not sorry.
But what he did was he did like. It came across like he was trying to negotiate, and people blaming him. So it was one of them like,
get it off my shoulder.
It ain't me, it's them.
And like
it was like this is what I'm dealing with. It was them. It wasn't.
In hindsight, after hearing Kiana, I mean, because like I say, I agree. It's time they have to commit to our community.
Yeah,
I seen a wife. I seen a wife when I heard the mayor talk, right? And I didn't see a wife until I saw the Rays talk after that.
Yes.
I didn't see the Rays talk after that.
The Rays talked after that.
Man, the Rays talk after that right
what
there.
What the Rays
The owners of the Rays was like, I mean, the mayor is able, he's able to.
But you know what he called
his reality.
He called them out.
So watch this.
They had to talk after that.
A strong mayor form of government needs to change. So now we're talking about the city charter, y'all. The city charter.
Strong mayor form of government.
So every 10 years there's a review of the city charter.
What's the city charter for those?
The city charter is like the constitution of the city.
Yeah, it's the rules. It's the rules that govern.
And so in the 90s, Kurt Singer ran. Mm-hmm. And he also had a campaign
Singer must go.
Yes, he had a campaign also to make a strong mayor form of government. He lost the mayor, but he won the strong mayor form of government.
Right.
See, a lot of people don't know this.
Right.
And we're living under the strong mayor form of government, and that's why this decision is strictly on the mayor.
And just for those who may not know, the strong mayor form of government is basically when the mayor is like the executive
God,
and he's not a part of city council. So the other form, I don't know what the not strong version is called.
Strong council form, I think.
Okay, so you would have the mayor would be a member of city council, and then you would have a city administrator who would be the executive officer.
And you still got to check him though.
Yeah, because that's what happened. See, the county has the city administrator. Mm-hmm. When you don't have a strong mayor form of government, you hire a city administrator, and they are like the ones who do the operations in the day-to-day. But in a strong mayor form, the mayor is the CEO of the city. He's not a member of council.
He's the end-all, be-all.
So, it's something that need to be looked at because a lot of these issues come down to that.
To the mayor and administration.
And now we have the city charter in front of us. A lot of people may not know they've been meeting. We went to a city charter meeting, and we will be back to the next one.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
Look at this, man.
We'll be there.
When
we'll be there.
When NWA shows up at the City Charter Review Commission,
I heard it's the rules of the game.
Know that the world's
man. I'm out here playing the game too.
Oh yeah,
man.
Things are changing. Things changing. We walked in there, man. It was like 2 people in there, and it was me and you. For real.
And the whole room got dark.
Look, we was here for it. We came for it.
We was the only ones in there though.
For real. And we took our son to get in there.
Behind us was only one person behind us, and she got up and spoke. She was the city's mayor, the city's lawyer. Yeah.
So it was just y'all two?
Yes.
Us too.
And that's the problem
and
we have.
And the people that was in on the board, of course.
And look, but that's the thing. That's the problem we have when these important decisions are made. Is nobody in the building. That's why I felt we just needed to be in the building. But next, I feel we got to have something to say.
Yes, sir.
So that was, I text Brother John. I was like, damn, I need something to say.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. You go in there, you listen.
But no,
you
we
get
need
it.
something.
No, I'm just
we
saying,
need.
no,
Yeah,
the
but
first
you're right.
time
You're
you
right.
go, you listen, see what you're up against,
And
and
then,
then you
yeah.
come back.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because it's like learning the rules because they have ways that they engage, ways that they operate,
And things they talk about that you got to be on point with.
Yeah. But you're right. We do need to lift up our voice. You know,
and be in the spaces.
Gotta be in the building.
And when we lift up our voice, we just need to know what we're talking about.
That's
so
right.
when you go there,
That's
listen,
absolutely.
and
I
then
think
you get the knowledge, then you can come
Talk
back.
with some sense.
Yeah, because you got people talking loud and saying a doggone thing.
Oh, we got something to say.
And I was just
we in the
saying
South.
this too, Brando. Not only lifting a voice, you know what I'm saying, but go ahead and bring it out. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth.
So hold on. So also, Roxanne Fixon, one of the commissioners at the city charter, brought up looking at the city charter through race equity, through the lens of race equity.
That's right.
I had it in my pocket. That's what I was feeling for because I've been reading it all morning.
Yeah.
This was 2 weeks ago, y'all. So I've been studying.
Yes, sir.
And I had it just morning. I lost it.
You heard that? He been studying. We
I'm
studied.
ready.
We studied.
I'm ready.
We prepared.
Those who know him know him.
I had something to
prepared for
read.
this
I read it. So yeah, looking at the city charter through the lens of race equity, and that's something we've been talking about. That's something doing an equity audit.
Yeah.
Right. That's something we've been talking about for the last 3-4 years. Really trying to say, hey, there are some racist policies in place that just sitting on the books, y'all.
And that's another one of those things we talk about relationships, right? Because the people who are on the charter review committee, they were identified by the members of city council districts.
Yes.
So these are citizens, y'all, that's reviewing the charter, and they've been identified by their council
members.
So what I suggest that we do is really identify who's on the charter review commission that's representing our district, also just representing us, period, and begin to have conversations with them. Because a lot of times it don't take us to go say it. We just need to talk to the right person, and they can go and say it.
I like the young dude on the charter commission, man. The
Miko.
young dude, yeah, man.
Shout out to Miko.
Big shout out to Miko on the charter
JC
commission, man.
and JC on that too?
JC's
on as well.
Also, Miss Terry Lipsy Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pastor Miko. Yep.
Pastor Miko.
Yeah, he's on there.
Reverend.
Yep, ain't that something?
But look, I'm telling you.
So look, we know the people that's on the commission.
We
So
need to be on the commission
listen,
in the next 10. We need to be on the commission in the next 10 years because what's happening.
I think I put my application in.
I appreciate that right there, brother John. Go ahead and throw yours in.
I think I did. I think I put my resume in.
Joanne, go ahead and throw yours in.
I might have didn't push send. Sometimes I
pull the trigger, Brando. Pull the trigger.
Yeah, I've been
And
working.
what
I told you I've been working with Trigger.
What I mean by that is we got to remove black pastors from being the representatives from our communities. Like
why?
Wait, hold on. Talk about it.
And I say that
Talk about it.
because when
We only got a couple minutes, y'all.
I got you. When we dealing with the Martin Luther King Day, that rubbed the whole city the wrong way, the common denominator is that the city of St. Petersburg and the police department was sitting down with black pastors. So we saying that the old gatekeepers got to get out of the way. Just gonna get out of the way right quick because the community itself it needs another voice. You know what I'm saying? And when y'all continue to use the same voice to go and calm us down, you go to black pastors. You keep trying to calm us down. There's a new voice in the community. You know what I'm saying?
And it's sad.
And it ain't even about radicalizing people, right? So it's not like the new voice needs to radicalize everyone, but the new voice does not need to be the same status quo because nothing's getting bold done in our community when you keep going to the same people. It's almost like you're trying to keep the party going.
Well, that is kind of what they're trying to do, though, right? Because if nobody who's comfortable is trying to upset the status quo.
There it is.
So-
If you comfortable in it, you're not going to do
So he must
anything
be
to
right. 'Cause
upset
I
it.
kind of got uncomfortable when he said that.
He
must have been right.
When we needed it, like back in the days when the black pastors came out and they elevated us, but now they're comfortable, and now it's time to move forward.
And not all black pastors. We
And I'm not saying-
we paint with such a
Don't
broad
do that.
brush.
So what I'm saying is not. I'm not saying they're bad. What I'm saying is they got us to one point, and now they're stagnant, and so they now need to pass the baton.
I do think
to somebody
you
else
need to be
that
more
can do it
inclusive.
because sometimes you don't realize what you're doing
That's right.
because this is something that you're used to.
Tradition.
So
It's
people
tradition.
are creatures of habit. So
Yes.
if this is your
It's
form of
insane if we're
communication-
gonna have the city and the police department continue to talk to the same people all the time.
But this is
You're
the
gonna
thing.
get the same outcome.
And you correct. This is the thing. We got to be more inclusive, right? We don't have to exclude voices. We got to include more
Right.
voices.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is that too many voices being excluded from the traditional process.
Right.
That's what
Right.
we've been fighting for. That's what we're talking about. That's why we're going
and
to the
here's-
charter review commission.
I need somebody who been to the feds on that charter review.
But
I'm just saying because somebody who been to the feds got a different whole paint where they gonna brush their community with and the future that they see their community.
I want to push back a little bit on something that he said though about people being excluded from the process because we here and ain't nobody really give us permission to be here.
But
nobody said, hey, come on in.
But we unicorns, and you can't expect to find a unicorn on every goddamn hill. You know, it's gonna be a unicorn, then you're gonna see another one in another million years.
Facts.
Yeah. You know, and you can't, you know, like you said earlier, you've met people that rub hands and touch Malcolm X's hands.
Right.
I've never, and I may never.
Yeah.
Only reason I might, because I know you.
Right.
Right?
Separation.
But
separation.
But that's it.
Yeah.
But then it stopped.
Yeah, for real.
You know, and then we can't expect everybody just to jump on that wave. You know, it's some people we're gonna have to get crutches to. There's some people we can feed milk. Some people we can give meat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to know the difference. We're gonna have to give some people milk, and then we're gonna have to give some people meat.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have to discern the difference.
And some people we just gotta kick out. So
Just go ahead and say that too.
And that's right.
Some people got to just but really you don't kick them out.
Right.
They just leave because you can create such an energy and an atmosphere where people can't be around you comfortably.
But you know they
You
always
gotta
say
kick some people out because God kick some people out too.
That's
people
true.
don't.
So
that's true.
It's
You
a
don't
place
get
for
fired.
kick.
You
That's true.
fire yourself.
Hey, he said God
But somebody got to sign off on it. And,
Fredo said God keep people out. I said
you see how
look what's taking
because it is true. How you argue with that?
Man, listen, I know the black people kick everybody out all the time.
We know how to choose our battles around here.
I swear.
Hey man, but before we go,
have fun, though.
we have to talk about this sad situation of senseless murders in our community. It's been 7 murders.
Yes, sir.
Wow,
And
7.
7.
Yeah.
It's been 7 in
and-
like 7 days, I think it was.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's my is more needs to be done, needs to be said moment.
But what can we do? Is
Yeah.
there a way we could have prevented any one of these murders? Would it been taking the guns? Would it been incarcerating these
I don't
brothers?
think it's about taking the guns.
Okay. So if they didn't have a gun, they would do it with something else?
If there's a will, there's a way.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Facts.
And this is the thing is it goes all the way back with loving yourself, I think, and then giving people the right tools. When people backs are against the wall, they do the unthinkable things
right.
and things that they
50,000 for a whole thing.
and so you think about
Crazy
it like
streets.
and so we really need, and this is not a 5-minute conversation because
No.
we got like
Yeah,
4 minutes.
let's bring that back.
So
Let's
we
bring
can
that back.
we
That's
can
right.
bring that back next Sunday.
We
when
talking about
talk
Judas, and we're gonna talk about this.
So that
senseless
might have
violence.
to be a whole show of its own.
Yeah,
Because we are dealing with like senseless murders back to back.
Back to back.
yeah.
Back to back. It's not letting up. It might be one tonight, y'all.
It may be, but
In the
this
morning
is
we might
about-
be talking about another one.
like our community need a hug. Like sometimes we don't want to hug our men. Like we really need to embrace our men.
But look,
Through COVID? How
And
we
check,
gonna go through
that's what I'm
COVID?
finna check this. I was finna say that. Check this out. What you just said is so powerful because again, context. We living in a time where hugging has been frowned upon.
Yeah.
Like there's rules and guidelines on human
Hugging.
interactions that says you shouldn't hug your brother. We're being mandated to be socially distant, and that's been going on for 11 months now. You think that don't show up in our interactions with each other? When they
does.
constantly telling you 6 feet apart, social distance, no touching, no this. Like you don't think that,
And you know
and people dying.
People are dying, and this is another factor. We don't talk about mental health. We
Yeah.
have talked, but we really need to
As a
address
community.
this as a
Yeah.
community. And then we tell guys all the time, "Suck it up. You don't show your emotions."
Coping
need
tools to cope.
People need outlets and
Yes.
be able to talk because that will stop a lot of frustration. If you're the only person you talking to. Yeah, you're going off the
Yeah,
edge.
and if the only tool that you got in the tool shed is a hammer, then everything look like a nail. So
Everything
So you
looks
got-
like a nail.
So you got to learn tools that can help us to process these things. Final thoughts, y'all. We got about 30 seconds. We got a minute.
We got like a minute.
Brother John trying to get out of here, man.
No, I'm just trying to
That's how
be
you
on
land the- that's
time.
how
We
you
on the
land the
radio.
plane.
So
We on the
look,
radio.
final thoughts is think about everybody who's listening, go watch the movie. So y'all can enjoy this conversation
Yes.
next week and have
Yes.
a
Talk to 'em.
dialogue with us.
Yes.
Think of some things that we can help our community with,
Yes.
especially with these senseless murders, because we're talking about it right now.
Yep.
So I'm giving y'all some homework, and we're gonna go and do our homework, and
Yeah.
Have a great week.
That's it. Final thoughts, Mr. Edmond.
I had to put my shades on. Y'all can't see me, but I'm cooling. I'm cooling, y'all.
Yeah, you cool.
So listen, final thoughts, man. I'm just praying for the people who lost their family members, man. Rest easy, my partner TG. He lost his life. Lil Rome. It's a lot going on, y'all.
Yeah.
The streets, man. We gotta say a silent prayer for the streets, man, and get up and do some work to change the stuff around us.
Hey man, there's more work that needs to be done and needs to be said.
You can see it. That's channeling.
I'm gonna just say it like this right here, y'all, man. Smart is new gangster, so I had to put my glasses on.
That's channeling. He's channeling
with his eyes closed.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, I am channeling my brother's energy. So just understand this. Why I say
yes,
this
sir.
right
Yes,
here,
sir.
Millions, man. When I say millions, my brother say multi. We out of here, y'all.
Peace.
You're listening to Power Plug Radio, home of your throwback jams. You're listening to Power Plug Radio, home of your throwback jams.